Hey folks, how are ya? This is the weekly Humpday report from Sicily. This is Alfred Zappala from Yumi and Sicily reporting live. Esther's off on secret assignment, and I think later today or tomorrow she's posting up something on our Yumi and Sicily site. So this is just to keep you tuned in on the goings on in Sicily this week. The weather has been great. Okay, God, except of course for Etna, which spit a lot of ash yesterday. You know, what happens is if one of the volcanoes goes off in Europe, the reverberation, believe it or not, travels throughout Europe and, it hits Sicily. We had one, where was it, in Iceland? And then the next one was in the Canary Islands. And then, sure enough, Etna started to spit not only ash but lava. Fortunately, it stopped. But the lava, and for those of you who are always wondering about the lava, blah, 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 lava here is very slow moving. It's not that fast moving lava that you see. And fortunately, it travels into the valley of the Bouvet, which is a enormous crevice that kind of like gets filled up. But it's been calming down, except for yesterday where it went bananas, and that's about it. Weather's good, as I said. Tourists are flocking into Sicily. American tourists are flocking into Sicily. A lot of the operators have brought people in. I've noticed a lot of buses. Although Taormina, my friends in Taormina report that it's still not there. It's still not there. Well, it better get there because by the end of October, it's going to be all over. So the season is shortening for these folks, number one, and the pressure is on. Now, speaking about pressure, the government, as anticipated, is going to shortly declare within a matter of days Sicily is a white zone. Okay? Really, it doesn't mean too much, okay? Because you still have to have the green pass or the Center for Disease Control, card that you've been vaccinated. Uh, that's number one. And number two is that by the middle of October, you're going to need that document to get into a restaurant because there's a new decree coming down, as I said to you on the last program. There's a new decree coming down in October that's going to require people who want to go into restaurants to show their so-called Green Pass or CDC card. That's huge, okay? So people are here. There's a lot of different requirements. The other big news is that in November, the United States is opening up to Italian tourists. Of course, on both ends, you're going to have to get the what do you call it, the swab test, and you're going to have to bring your documents showing that you've been inoculated. But I don't think there's going to be a quarantine on either side, thank God. So that's going to open up a little bit. I'm very, very, very happy about that. Our numbers in Sicily, just so you know, are getting there. Getting there. Not there yet. 74.8% of Sicilians have been vaccinated, either one or two. Okay? What they want to do is they want to get it way over that threshold with both, getting both shots. I think that's what it's going to be. They're talking about a third vax for the fragile. Okay? I wonder if they're talking about mentally fragile because I would qualify. But other than that, no. Down the road, there'll probably be a third shot coming. But for now, they're focused on putting the pressure on the second shot or even the first shot. Hence, the mandate that Draghi made that if you want to work, you have to be vaccinated. I think that's a draconian thing, but the mindset is different in Sicily and in Italy than it is in the United States of America. Okay? Remember, it's been oppressed for centuries. Sicily has been. And the government typically has been the oppressor, so to speak. Just look back during the fascist era and look back at all the other eras that there have been where Sicily's been dominated. So it kind of makes sense that there is some innate and inherent suspicion with the Sicilian folks. We'll see what's going to happen, but I'm impressed that 75% of the Sicilians have thus far received one or two vaccinations. Another big thing, a big smelly thing, as a matter of fact, is that the garbage. Now, this is a new problem. What happened is the landfills in the east side, which go either to Lentini, which is right around Siracusa, right before Siracusa, or Gela, which is down south towards Ragusa and those. They both have, one of them is full, and the second one is dicking around politically by letting in garbage. It looks like they're holding the barrel over the head and are rejecting the garbage from the province of Catania. Of course, what they do is all the garbage goes to a central processing place over here and is compacted. Okay, so there's these big chunks of stuff that's all stuck together, and then they're buried in the landfill. It's not that they're just like thrown all over the place. Well, one of them, and then they're, these are privately owned or municipally owned landfills. They're playing hardball. They want more do re mi. That's what it's all about in Sicily. The do, the re, and the mi. Other parts of the island don't have landfills, so what they do is they put them on barges and they ship them off to an island someplace. But right now, there's been a backup for about a week and a half, and it's getting big. The park, and I know people are beginning to break the law because when I wake up in the morning, guess what? I see fires burning. I also see roadside trash on the side of the road getting bigger. So we're hoping that they're going to clean this up within the next week. By the time I report next week, I'm hoping that story is like cleaned up. It should be, because it's stinking up right now. So that's a big story. But it's not all caused by the government. Okay, it's also caused. There are other reasons why garbage piles up on the roadways. We have government playing dirty politics over here. You have unions sometimes playing dirty politics. You have lazy and ignorant citizens who don't want to separate their trash, etc., etc., and Mother Nature. Okay, so there are different reasons why Sicily has garbage problem. But let me say something to you. Okay, Sicily's 5.5 million people. That's all it is. 5.5 million spread out all over the place with a volcano. So it's not that there is litter everywhere. There is litter in concentrated places, and it gets cleaned up. So I think that's another huge issue that people ought to think about when they come to Sicily. There is no garbage where you're kicking it out of the way to go to the Greek theater in Taormina. That's ridiculous, okay? It's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful thing. What I like about now is I'm seeing the first chestnuts are out. Yes, okay? They start high, about 14 euro for a kilo. That's 2.2. And they're usually not that good because they're from the north. Usually when I buy the first chestnuts, what happens is about a third of them are rotten, and I get irritated because I paid all this money. But within another 2 weeks, the roadside roasters, the Sicilian vendors, set up their roasters on the side of the road, and that's when I know fall is here. When I see the chestnuts here, when I see the Figa di India, the so-called cactus pears, all over the place, when I see the fresh figs, when I see perfectly grown grapes here, I know it's fall. Believe me, okay? So the joy and the beauty of Sicily which is always in my heart, is its change of season. Maybe doesn't have like the leaves of New England, the foliage of New England. It has a culinary change. So that's basically our foliage, I guess. Last thing I wanted to report to you today, besides the economy is hanging in. Reports are that they've put the skids on the disastrous after effects of COVID. Italy is now getting 1 foot out of the grave. Not 2 feet, 1 feet, but I've been reading some actually positive articles in the newspapers about the Italian economy. Let's hope it keeps on going. And yes, by the way, there's a worker shortage here too. It just blows my mind when I have to say that. Anyways, watch our programming here, as I said. Number 2, watch our programming in Yumi and Sicily. Subscribe to both channels. Subscribe to this one so you can get this report on Wednesdays and the new one on Fridays right into your inbox. We'd appreciate it. And then finally, don't forget, we have things like T-shirts that you can find out about on Yumi and Sicily. We have a whole bunch of different products like that. We have my books that you can purchase, or you can watch our over 300 hours of programming. Anyways, that's it for this week's report. Ciao. Bye.